So I just got done with a virtual hearing before the Supreme Court of India, and we got the relief for the client. So this was one of those happy days and not one of those sulking days where I feel like, God damn, I don't want to be talking or making a video about things that we are doing in the past or presently just because you're in that emotional overwhelm. But today was a good day and I feel pretty fresh, so I thought might as well make a video because there was this one particular thing that I've been wanting to talk about for the past couple of weeks. We had an incredible success. I wouldn't call it success because most of the times, especially in matrimonial matters, I don't see successes. I just see people getting out of a bad situation in significantly less painful to maybe a spectrum of very painful ways, right? So this is one of those cases which I really wanted to talk about, among other reasons, also because of the fact that this was the first time that I was very up and close and personal in this matter. In fact, this man, this husband who faced false accusations by the wife was actually a distant relative of mine, right? And therefore, this was the first, I'm never married, never have been, and I've never really we've had divorces in the family, but it has never been a conflict divorce. There has never been any, allegation of any sort which went to any court of law. This was the first time this ever happened in my, family circle. And when this happened, this particular cousin of mine, I have been close to him. I do have a lot of, respect, regard for him. We've grown up together, not grown up together, but, we've been close. So when he got married and just 2 days later, the dispute started, the girl said, I don't want to live with the boy and the boy's family in the same house. I want the boy and me to live separately. It later transpired that although the boy had made it completely clear that I am desirous of living with my parents after the marriage, the girl initially agreed, and they had this plan apparently, which they later confessed, that we were hoping that by giving a little bit of threats and persuading a little here and there, we'll be able to get the boy to separate. And so just 2 days after the marriage, the girl goes back home, as they all do as per rituals. But when the boy goes to get the girl back, the girl's father threatens, verbally abuses, and is a huge problem. With a lot of difficulty, the boy escapes the house, goes back to his house, and then they come to me, and then we strategize the way forward. We understand that it's just been 2 days to the marriage. What do? We are trying to talk about peaceful divorce, but peace apparently does not seem like an option in front of these people. It was very difficult. This was about 2 years ago. And at that point of time, I said, let's at least proceed with the, drafting of our cases where we are availing of our legal remedies against the opponent. And then we'll figure out whether we want to file these cases or not. And I told these people, they lived in Gurgaon at that time, I told them that because the house that you live in is owned by you, right, owned by the father of the boy, there is a very big possibility that the girl might try to force her way inside and she might try to seek residence orders. And this is in fact precisely what happened. A week later, the girl shows up with some members of a particular political party along with the cops and says that I am going to reside in the house. And I wanted to kind of break down, because I made notes about what all lessons we learned from this crazy dispute, because there are some very valuable lessons to kind of, to break down and to share with everyone over here. Now, one thing that I tell every husband client is that in certain situations, you have to be very careful. Your wife might want to come back inside the house and say that I want to reside over here. And the reason why is because of something called residence orders under the Domestic Violence Act. If your wife is able to secure those residence orders under the Domestic Violence Act, it is not necessary that she is owner of the house, co-owner of the house. It's not necessary that, even especially after 2020, it's not necessary that you as the husband are owner, co-owner of the house. Even if your parents, your sister, brother, anybody in your near dear family is co-owner of the house, the wife has a right to reside in the house. And after a few days, she can also say that the domestic violence is continuing, so please remove the male members of the house from the house. And that is why it is very important that you ensure that the girl does not enter the house, because another nuanced point that I explained to the relatives is that it is going to take a lot of time, effort, energy for the girl to get a court order seeking residence orders. But if she is already inside the house, then there is a far bigger likelihood that she will get a very quick residence order, to not be evicted from the house. And that's why if she's already left and she's outside, you should not allow her inside the house, no matter what. And in fact, it's a little crude, but this is the script that I have seen works with not letting the wife inside the house. Or I've had so many clients, and a lot of times they say, the police came, the police said, how can you deny her? We are telling you, you must do it, otherwise we'll arrest you. What do we do? And in this situation, I have seen the only one thing that works in this situation when dealing with the cops and the girl is that not the boy, not his father, not his brother, only and only the female members of the house, maybe the mother of the boy, maybe the sister of the boy, or the sister-in-law of the boy, some other, a brother or somebody else's wife. The ladies of the house need to go out and need to explain to the cops that they are the ones who are going to use force in order to ensure that the girl does not enter the house. And this is exactly what we did. This relative, the aunt, stood out and said, I'm not going to let her inside the house no matter what. Right? I will fight to the death. This is what they have to say. I will fight to the death, but I will not let her inside the house. If you say that she has a right under the Domestic Violence Act to residence orders, get a court order. The court has the power to do this. The Domestic Violence Act does not empower the police to assist a wife in getting a residence order. These orders can only be passed by a magistrate court. So you can go to the court and do this. In the meantime, I also, now again, another thing I tell every husband is, in a situation like this, you may want to consider selling your house. So this is another lesson, right? When you know that there is a good possibility your wife might seek residence orders, it's better just sell the house, especially if you are getting a good deal, right? At this particular point of time, around 2 years ago, there was a big boom in Gurgaon market, and the uncle was actually getting almost I think 20% better rate than what he purchased this particular property for just a few years ago. And so I said, it's a no-brainer. Sell it maybe even at a 10% profit rather than getting greedy, but just sell it definitely in the next 1 or 2 months, because otherwise the wife may avail of a legal remedies. And it's not illegal for you to do so. A lot of people also think that, oh, if the wife has filed cases and then I sell the house, what will happen? A lot of times you are within the law. I mean, another example perhaps would be, how do you do tax planning? You are not evading taxes, you are planning taxes which is permissible under the law in order to get a certain benefit, right? or perhaps to avoid a certain loss that will happen to you. I say there is no harm in selling the house, even if the wife has, say, perhaps filed a domestic violence case and wishes to get a residence order. If you just sell the house, unless there is a stay by the court. Now, if the court has said you cannot create third-party interest in the property, then yes, it does become a problem and you will be in violation of the orders of the court. But a lot of times courts do not grant any such restraining orders or such injunction orders or stay orders for the first couple of months, couple of hearings in the matters. So this is something that you can consider doing. And after this whole saga, when the relatives realized that it is going to be a big problem, they said, let's bounce from here. So they sold off the flat at no loss, a little bit of profit from what my memory serves me. And then we were able to kind of deal with other things. Now, in the meantime, once this whole attack, which I would call nothing less than an attack, happened at the house, we were 100% sure that there is no chance of a mutual peaceful divorce or even a peaceful reconciliation, which we were contemplating at that point of time. And the next plan of action then remained to file your cases, avail of your legal remedies. Now, a lot of times, husbands are told you can either file a divorce case or a restitution of conjugal rights case. I completely disagree. I think that divorce and restitution are one of the most useless cases to file, especially divorce, because in divorce case, A, you pay litigation expenses to your wife at the very beginning. Number two, in that same divorce case, your wife can seek maintenance orders, interim maintenance orders from you pending this divorce case. 3, this divorce case will take 10 years, give or take, maybe sometimes 5, maybe minimum 5 years to get a divorce order. And even in this divorce order, after several years of fighting it out, you will be liable to pay permanent alimony to the wife, even after you've established that she's the transgressor, she's the one who's the reason for this divorce to be granted. And number 5, in the meantime, she can still file her other FIR, maintenance cases, domestic violence cases, all of these things. And the fact that you filed divorce prior in time is going to have no bearing on the cases that she has filed. The police will still trouble you, the courts will still trouble you, the maintenance orders can be passed, the residence orders can be passed. Instead, what we did, what I've done for quite a few other husband clients as well, is availing of our legal remedies. Civil suit for injunction damages. She should not come near the house. She should pay us compensation for what she has done. Not just against her, but her family members as well, because her father was this abusive person and her mother had thrown abuses and a bunch of other things on the phone and in person against these people. Also, criminal case, right? Criminal case. Now, again, I actually have a couple of relatives who are in some very well-to-do positions in life. They're well connected, and they said that we'll try to get an FIR registered. But I knew that it's not going to be of any benefit. They did approach the police station, and as usual, the police did not listen to them, no matter what you do, right? I would say maybe 1 out of 200 cases that I discuss, the husband's able to successfully, after maybe paying a bribe or something, is able to get an FIR registered. But no wife has been arrested by the police till now in any FIR registered by the husband against the wife, irrespective of even that 1 in 200 case, right? So I knew what our remedies were. File a civil suit for injunction damages. Also file a magistrate complaint, a complaint under section 200 of the Criminal Procedure Code against the girl and her family members. We did this in Gurgaon, right? The girl belongs to Ghaziabad. Now, obviously, a couple of weeks down the line, the girl also files her police complaint, which is then referred to the mediation center, and then from the mediation center it goes to the police station, and then the FIR is registered. The girl also files her domestic violence petition under section 12 domestic violence petition, section 125 Criminal Procedure Code maintenance case as well. Now here there are other lessons as well. Someone said, let's bribe the officials in the crime against women cell. I said there is no point, and they did heed my advice. Not paying the crime against women cell people, right, had no adverse effect, and I say this from experience. I've seen hundreds of people pay crime against women cell officers because they think they will help us somehow, they will give us a positive report somehow. There is absolutely no benefit that you get by bribing any officer of the crime against women cell, although they will make you think that yes, you will get some benefit, but you get zero benefit. So always remember, there's no point in bribing members of the crime against women cell. These are just a mediation reconciliation center. Next thing, don't believe the police when they tell you that they will help you out, right? I have so many husbands who come and tell me that the cops say that you grease our palms and we will not file charge sheet. They say that very few times. Oftentimes they'll say, all right, we'll file charge sheet only against you, but not your parents. So the person thinks, you know what, it's my fault. This is my wife, not my parents' fault. My parents are, poor old people. At least let me get my parents out of this mess. To them, I say, a lot of times the cops will take the money. And this is what happened in this case as well. Influence, I must say, was tried, right? People contacted higher ups in the police, and the police officers in the higher up places, by all these contacts and means and everything, they made several promises. Oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I said every single time, from day one of the FIR being registered, all I care about is the fact that the boy and his family members are not arrested by the police. Everything else can be managed. And we did not have to apply for anticipatory bail. In fact, I say that husbands nowadays, the police are also not desirous of arresting. About 99 out of 100 FIRs of matrimonial disputes, husbands are not arrested. 1% are arrested. They make some common mistakes. I've talked about them on other occasions. I'm not going to talk about them today. But so the person's not arrested, and I said that's all we want, and that's all we can hope for. If you say that charge sheet may, don't do this, don't do that. One relative was trying very hard that no charge sheet should be filed, right? Calling people, saying, look at our proof, look at how genuine our case is. It's been 2 days of the wedding, no demand for dowry, nothing. At the end of the day, charge sheet is filed against all the family members. I say there is no problem with it. The cases are going to go on for several years. We have filed our cases prior in time to them filing their cases. We have clear proof. We have, threats, messages, on WhatsApp. We have a bunch of other things. We will definitely get an acquittal. So, do not pay police officers when they tell you, oh, we'll keep your parents' name out, we'll do this and that, and all you need from the cops is an assurance that they will not arrest you. And if you cannot get that assurance, might as well go and apply for an anticipatory bail as well. Now, apart from that, right, another thing. Now here in this situation, the boy earns around, I think about 60,000, 50, 60,000, something like that a month. The wife was also in a job making about 25, 30,000 a month. And I said that we have to push for zero maintenance to be granted, right? And the wife did not show her income at all, right? She says, I don't earn anything, I don't have any sufficient means to maintain myself. And she gets away with this nonsense, right? And a lot of times I say that, you know, the law of perjury in India is horrible, right? Anyone can get away with lying, especially so in matrimonial disputes. It is complete atrocity. However, you have to, as a person stuck in this litigation, try your best. So we moved an application under section 340 Criminal Procedure Code for perjury against the wife for not disclosing that she is in a job earning money and that she has not filed her bank statements in compliance with the judgment of Rajneesh versus Neha, passed by the Honorable Supreme Court. And so we did this, and despite this, I suspect because of influence or whatever, the judge still passed an order. Thank God, a very small 10,000 rupees a month, illegal yet not too damaging an order against us. Again, we immediately moved the Allahabad High Court against this, and we knew that there is a very good chance we'll be able to get this relief from the court as well. Either which ways, the wife also understood in all of this time. She is facing, and her family is facing, cases from Gurgaon. In fact, from another city in Haryana where I come from, we had also filed cases and they were in the process of summons being issued to them. The fact that we filed perjury case against the wife, the fact that we appealed against the maintenance order very quickly, the fact that we were not arrested by the police despite their best efforts, despite the fact that the moment the police filed the charge sheet, we were preparing and we were in the process of filing quashing before the High Court, which I don't say you should always try because there are nuanced points, but this was a good case. 2 days of marriage, right? 1.5, I think 1 day or 2 days of the marriage, right? Between all of these things, we were able to put so much pressure on the girl that on an earlier occasion when they did earlier they said, we just want to make life hell for you. And subsequently, they came up with an offer of, I believe, a demand of, I believe, around 1 crore rupees. Finally, the matter was settled for a very reasonable sum of rupees 15 lakhs. And now again, I've talked about it on earlier occasions. Why did you give her 15 lakhs when it was 2-day marriage? Why did you not fight? Because ugly reality of this country is that you do not want to get into the mud with the pig because the pig enjoys it. Now, who's the pig? I will leave it to your imagination. But I would say that when you get a good offer, when you have to part with a very, very, very small percent of your net worth, and because this is a family member, I cannot talk about other things, but I'll just say this. They were very happy to pay 15 lakh rupees and be done with the matter. We recently got a mutual divorce decree. We got the quashing of the FIR on the mutual compromise, and we were able to, get it done and dusted. But one thing I must say, it was a lesson for me as well of dealing with the emotional pain involved in fighting these kind of cases, because this was the first time I firsthand dealt with how it feels like being a relative of someone who's going through this themselves. But I must confess, I knew that this is going to happen because I have fought for other relatives in the past, and I knew how emotionally overwhelming it will be, which will also cloud my judgment. And that was the reason why I was very specific with my request to my team members, my fantastic chamber, each of whom worked their magic in the case, got us the relief, denied the opponent the relief, and because of which we were able to have a very smooth sailing for this cousin. And I am grateful to the team for all that they did. Another thing that almost skipped my mind and I must mention is, when you are in courts, keep your distance from the opponent. So one occasion what happened was, this crazy psycho father-in-law of my brother, my associates there in the court, right, in Ghaziabad District Court, and obviously we have been delaying things and we have been denying things and we are running our legal strategies. These people are so frustrated. They call me up and tell me that my associate and my cousin, they are both out at the car parking lot. The girl's father comes up with some excuse, I want to talk, comes nearby and starts punching my cousin, right? And then my associate intervened and they hurried out of that place. And they said, what do we do? And I said that we should go and file a police complaint, because there is a very good chance that despite the fact that the father of the girl came and attacked us, he is going to try, and because I've seen this story numerous times, right? Court complex sagas I have seen firsthand so many times, and I've talked about it on one or two other occasions as well. Keep your distance from the opponent, especially if you are frustrating the opponent with your legal strategies. They will try other things to trouble you. And this is what happened, right? 2 days later, we get a call from the Thana Chowki in charge at Ghaziabad courts, the police station, saying that there is a complaint against you of assaulting the girl's father. And we went and obviously we gave our statement and we said, look at the CCTV, who comes to whom, who is attacking whom. We did not do anything, right? And the matter was also closed over there. This was another lesson. And there were many more other things that kind of were there, but these are like the main gist in a 20-minute long video. If you've been watching it till now, thank you for bearing with all of my my droning on and on, but this is something that I kind of just wanted to kind of put out in terms of lessons that you learn while dealing with a matter when especially the person's a relative of yours, especially in matrimonial disputes like these ones.